It's award season for board games, and a couple weeks back, we were talking about Board Game Geek's 14th annual Golden Geek Award nominees. Since then, they have announced the winners. The Dice Tower has also announced their nominees for the Dice Tower Awards for this year.
Dice Tower has very similar awards to Board Game Geek, such as Best Game of the Year, Two-Player, Innovative Art, but they got some other ones that I think are pretty unique, such as from new designers, small publisher, reprint. Detective City of Angels has appeared a lot, which I don't remember appearing as much in the Board Game Geek Awards, as well as Slide Quest, which has shown up in Innovative and also Party Game. I actually have just tried out the solo variant of it, which I definitely want to try this out with more people, but it's a little hard right now. It's definitely an interesting game.
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, the nominees were pretty similar across the board between the two websites. But like you said, I definitely saw an uptick in Detective City of Angels, as well as Unmatched, I think, which some people felt got a little less love than it deserved for like artwork and two-player games, is up for those awards now on the Dice Tower side. And yeah, I guess Slide Quest as well, which I think is a fun little concept. But certainly, I think the common denominator between the two of them, which is not a surprise to anyone, is Wingspan getting a lot of love. And while we do not know what the Dice Tower Award results are yet, we got to wait a little longer to find out. We know the results for the Board Game Geek Awards, and Wingspan pretty much swept those awards. They were the winner for, I believe, every category they were nominated in, which is a total of 7 awards, 8 if you count the European expansion, which won for Best Expansion. And I think that's the big takeaway for a lot of people looking at this, is seeing just how much love Wingspan got. Maybe was there anything else, any other awards that surprised you or made you happy before we talk about Wingspan from the Golden Geeks, Will?
Well, if we look at the ones that it didn't win, Wavelength, we talked about how much we wanted to play that, so it winning Party Game makes sense, I guess, because we were so excited about even just trying it out.
Yeah.
Dune, I mean, I guess I'm not shocked. I guess to me, Star Wars Outer Rims, I feel like you play it because you feel so much in the Star Wars universe, and since I know it more. But it is nice to see a game that didn't change too much from very long ago still is able to win awards.
Yeah, that may be part of it. Is it just it has such a, even all these years later, there's such a reverence for it in the board game community that it was able to take that. So Wingspan again. Now I looked back at some of the past year's awards because I was curious, and last year Root took home 4 awards. The Mind took home 3. The year before that was, I think, the biggest sweep that I could tell in Golden Geek history, which was Gloomhaven, which took home 6 awards. So now we're looking at Wingspan with 8, including the expansion. That's 50% of the categories went to a single game, which is it's just a lot. It's we expected it to do very well, but obviously that's huge. And I wonder, I mean, it's an unprecedented thing for one game to take this many awards home. Now, we've talked before at length about how, these are voted on by the public. It's like it's a popularity contest to some extent, but I mean, that's what's wrong with that. It's about which games are popular. I think that's what it's determining. But what do you think about this? I know Wingspan was your number one game of that year. Are you sitting there saying, yeah, it totally deserves all of these? Or is any part of you saying maybe a little less on the Wingspan could have been nice?
In terms of awards in general, I'm usually of the in the camp, and I don't know how big this camp is, but like sometimes when I watch the Oscars and stuff, I'm sometimes think, shouldn't if movie A won Best Movie, it should have taken home at least 4 of those other ones? Like, it feels like they try to divvy out the awards to make it fair, when I feel like, but it's the best. So when I hear something win a lot of awards, I'm not like, something's not fair. I'm like, that makes sense. And in Wingspan's case, yeah, I think a lot of them, rightfully so, it deserves. I think it is the best game, personally, of the year, and I had a lot of fun with it, and it makes sense that it wins a lot. Now, in terms of the categories, I think this is where we're going to have a bit of an issue. And nothing against, Board Game Geek for making this. It's a it's a huge endeavor in general that's not including running the site and everything else and dealing with everyone's complaints. But I think part of the problem is everyone defines, for example, card game. I think we even talked about this in our video differently, or strategy game. And I think that's where a lot of people are going to butt heads. And then we have the issue where I think there's just a large portion of people who, when they vote, they're going to vote. I mean, I don't know if that's wrong, but like if you only know 2 games on that list, you're going to vote for one of those 2.
For sure. I mean, definitely a big part of it is which game have the most people played. And yeah, if sometimes that's sort of you find that sweet spot of game that satisfies the most people with game that everyone has also had the chance to experience, which Wingspan is a pretty good fit for both of those. And the designer of Wingspan, Elizabeth Hargrave, made an interesting thread on Twitter in response to all this, and kind of saying the same things you just said. And we also commented on it in our video about the nominees, about how a lot of these categories are just sort of ambiguous or not super clearly defined. And yeah, like, is Wingspan a card game? Is it a family game? Is it a strategy game? What do these things mean? And sometimes you run into the same thing with any awards category for any medium, I find. So that's one aspect of it. But I do think it is just remarkable and worth pondering. Like I said, the fact that of all the years, this one won so many of the awards. And I wonder if it's a sign that do you think the voters of Board Game Geek are becoming more homogenized? Like, are board games now at a point where there's certain games that it's just more common, everyone's experienced them, and they're going to rise to the top, and we're going to see this more often? Or is this like an anomaly, and this is like a once in a while, like Wingspan is just a freak thing, and next year we'll see more variety in the winners? Or maybe it's just because Wingspan just happened to lend itself to a lot of these categories. Like, it does have a solo mode. Like if it was a co-op game, I'm sure it would have also won best co-op. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think that's something maybe we'll start to see more of in the future?
I think it's a combination of the last 2 things. So first off, obviously, if it has whatever the category says in the title, and as long as they don't change what the definition is or something like that, if a game happens to have those categories in there that is well liked, if you have a popular game that is in that sweet price range and is also relatively easy to play and pick up compared to some of those other games, I think, yeah, that's when you're going to get these sweeps.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think what's interesting about the Golden Geeks versus the Dice Tower or a lot of other awards is that they are, again, voted on by Board Game Geek users. It's not like there's a committee or something. It's regular gamers who are playing these games and voting. And I think that's what you should take this as, is if for whatever reason, if you're happy or unhappy with the results, this isn't necessarily these are the best games of the year in these categories. Like, no one's really saying that that's their strong opinion. I feel like what these are interesting is a barometer of what the general public is playing, or at least the general online hardcore gaming public, which games are rising to the top for us, for players like us. And yeah, in this case, for all those reasons, Wingspan just, everybody played it, everybody liked it. And probably a lot of these other games, maybe some of them had a few more passionate minorities, but they kind of canceled each other out because people were voting for one or this one or that one. But like, everyone can kind of come together and agree on Wingspan is, even if it's not your favorite game, it's like, well, yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's hard to say it's not good. Again, we're waiting to hear on Dice Tower Awards. I would expect Wingspan will probably have a pretty strong showing over there as well, but we'll see. At least it looks like there will be a little more variety, because I don't think it was nominated in as many categories as it was for the Golden Geeks. But if you're somebody who voted in the Golden Geek Awards, if you think there are other games that you wish got more love, let us know in the comments what you think about all of these awards, what your general feelings are on Wingspan or anything else related to the topics at hand.
We'd love to hear what you think. But until then, I'm Will.
I'm Jonathan.
This has been Roll for Crit. Catch the latest from Roll for Crit by liking and subscribing and supporting us on Patreon.
You're not a hidden traitor, are you? Come on, like us.